Hello, hello, hello. Good evening. Hope everybody had a pleasant, at the very least, Labor Day. I'm Doc Solo, and welcome to Sketch and Chill. Tonight I am working on an old piece that I want to see done. I kind of abandoned it because the movie was so darn bad. Um, I kind of abandoned it because the movie was so bad. But this is a Black Adam piece, and I know that sounds like really shallow, but it wasn't just because of the movies, because of what they did to one of my all-time favorite characters. That I love the whole Shazam mythos. It's very near and dear to me. Quite possibly my favorite superhero of all time. And yeah, that was a tough one for me. So I said, let me dust this off, and as we're getting ready to start our school year at Ka-Pow, I'm in the process of just creating a new batch of prints for next convention season and all the appearances that we're currently lining up as we move forward. And that's it. That's it. If you're out there, let me know that you're there, and I'll reach you properly. And until then, I'm just drawing. I'm literally sketching and chilling. Feel free to join along, and if you have any questions, let me know. I'm an open book. And this is all about, education in the comic craft. I like to have fun and, do all the geek stuff. I'm down for some geek speak. Whatever you got going on, I'm up for it. You see here I have a little bit of red overdrawing, because I wanted to add some more base to some more structure to the underdrawing to make sure that the anatomy was on point. And I like the tattered cape. I love the new 52 design of Black Adam. It's one of my favorites. Something like that. Get rid of this line here. Things lagging around a little bit. The input latency is not exactly what it needs to be. And I go quiet, just feel free to sound off and I'll respond. Not just gonna draw for a couple hours and until something else demands my attention, and keep it moving. Take this to the board. This was actually drawn on a 8.5 by 11 piece of printing paper. originally. So it's got some borders that need to be adjusted. And lay down these large areas. It's amazing how slow my thing is responding. Probably because I'm streaming. See some things I can close here, so I can allocate some resources. Quit. Things working in the background. Force quit. See, that helps a little bit. Oh yeah, definitely. Sometimes you got the computer working a little too hard, and she'll let you know. I'm gonna have some tatters in the cape. There we go. Go. Hey, Mega, how are you? YouTube, welcome. Thank you. Thank you. How are you tonight? Thanks for popping in. How goes everything? My much estranged YouTube that I'm trying to get moving. How are you tonight? It's going okay. It's going okay. I mean, can't complain. Good day at work. That's always a good thing. That was a good thing. A good day at work is always much appreciated. Much appreciated. It's been good. I've been working all day, getting ready to, really launch our YouTube presence and getting ready for our opening school year for 2023, and got shows coming up and all the fun stuff that mom and dad never warned you about when you said, ooh, you want to be an entrepreneur. You want to be an artist. So all the stuff no one ever tells you. That is just not a day full of just drawing like you would hope for. But it was okay. I mean, how was your holiday? Did you I don't know where you're watching from. Did you have a good Labor Day? If you're watching from the States, I don't want to assume. Where are you watching from? Yep. Did you guys celebrate? I did some grilling for the wife and the cheering, the grown cheering, and the grandkids. And so I was Chef Boyardee yesterday. Chef D. Solo yesterday. From Dirty Jersey. Uh-oh, the Jersey. That's what's up. Represent. Represent. That's what's happening. Nothing but love for my East Coast brothers and sisters. Jersey. That's what's up. I'm in Chicago. Yeah, I'm from Chicago. And so that's where I'm streaming from. My studio here in the Chi. Yeah, it was fun. Anytime I get a chance to spend time with the kids and the grandkids, it's a good day. It's a good day. Life is short, You gotta love the ones you got while you got them. You know what I mean? Oh, really? Really? Carlos and the crew? Oh, Mr. Mendoza. Well, thank you. Thank you for following. I appreciate that. You picked a great time to kind of pop in because, again, I'm starting to release new content, and now that I have someone to replace me in the classroom, as the director of Ka-Pow, my job is now to create content, promote the school, and to draw. And I know that sounds enjoyable, and it is enjoyable. It beats what I used to do, fighting bad guys for a living, literally. Beats that. I'm not complaining. My wife always reminds me that I get to do this, and I'm not sitting in the squad car anymore, but I get to do this now. But it is work, but I enjoy it. It's fulfilling. But I've come to realize that I have to draw every day. I've come to realize that. It's become such a crucial part of everything that I'm trying to create, and I can't let all the business stuff get in the way, which I tend to get consumed with. Yeah, the great AI debate. So far, that's our most watch, my most watched video. But I'm about to change that. I'm like all into the whole YouTube thing now. I'm like fully committing, fully committing. And so, little intimidating, I must say, but it's necessary. It's like, you know, I'm an old dude. This is the new landscape now. This is like, you know, stream, create content or die if you have a business endeavor, you know. And I'm like, okay, let's do it. Let's do it. So it feels kind of weird. You know, I came from a generation where this stuff wasn't considered a worthwhile job. But now I'm like, no, it's actually a job. Creating content and being intentional and you know, creating an online presence. I see why people get paid what they do to do it. It just looks different from 20 plus years ago. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Hopefully that charisma carries. Hopefully. Thank you so much. I needed that. You made my day. Because when you reach a certain age, especially what has as fast as technology is advancing, you know, I'm Gen X. You kind of wonder if you are like built for this new world, and you see all these young whippersnappers, you know, doing all the things, and you know, I'm not caught up into things, but you know, making these moves, and it seems so natural and organic, and I'm like, okay, can I really do this? But thank you, that you just encouraged me more than you realize. Let me tell you. Brick by brick, brick by brick, brick by brick. Yeah, I mean already. And here's the funny thing: like you're never. It's like one of those things that you don't know until you know, right? Until you actually know, until you just kind of jump off the deep end. And I've had this YouTube channel. I have the YouTube channel because I'm omnicasting right now. I'm on Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook Live apparently. And I've had all the equipment forever, you know, and I've learned all the things. It's just like, it's hard just kind of pulling that trigger. And now that the school is live and it's viable, and now I have so much to lose because, you know, I have guys that I have an incredible team that work with me. I have so much to lose by not doing, but by not learning and putting my hat in the arena. It's kind of like, now it's time to put up or shut up to a very large degree. And it's a little intimidating, you know, especially like when you're starting, you know, I'm at zero basically. You know what I mean? You know, I remember when YouTube and stuff came out, I was in the squad car, and I'll never forget, my partner was like, hey man, you heard this new thing called YouTube? I'm like, what? And I was like so disinterested. Didn't know that I didn't know what I didn't know. You know what I mean? But now I know. So we carry on. Joel at Let's Read, he uses illustration. Really? I would love to. If he's a friend of yours, I need collabs. I'm open for collabs. If you all are friends, and I'm an avid reader, so I'm big in that. And you know, I'm a former animator. Worked on Batman animated series and Animaniacs, all that stuff. So there may be some cross pollination there. I would love to if that's a, you know, viable connection that you you know, that you're willing, introduction that you're willing to make. I'm down for it. It's Ka-Pow School at gmail.com. Ka-Pow School at gmail.com. Let me see if I can find an overlay. Yep, there it is right there. Yep. But I'm open for collabs and all, and I'm full in, and I've been editing videos, so like I've cemented my live streaming schedule, so I'll be streaming here on Tuesdays and Fridays, just as a habit. I know Fridays, I'm not worried about like viewership times or anything. It's just building the muscles, right? So I'll be streaming here on Tuesdays and Fridays, and I stream on my other platform from my actual studio on Mondays and Thursdays, and Wednesdays and Saturdays. You see, I'm up now to 6 days a week. Wednesdays and Saturdays are editing content days. So yeah, it's like I'm like full bore into this now, and it's whew. Whew. Thank you so much, Mega. I appreciate it. Thank you. Every bit helps. Every bit helps. So are you in the creative community as well? Because you seem to be a huge supporter of it. Are you in the creative community as well? Don't want to make this all about me. Carlos, I met Carlos. Carlos is like the coolest. I met Carlos a few years ago when he was still in Cali, and I reached out to one of my closest friends, my brother, and I created an app. The app is currently not up in the iStore. We have to make some edits because of the App Store updates. But I created an app for artists for drawing prompts, and it's kind of like I actually have it on my phone. But it's available at the Google Play Store still, I believe. I gotta check. But Carlos didn't know me from a can of paint, and he put together. He had held a dinner at his house, and it was just on his connection to my brother. And I was trying to build something, and I needed people to test it. And so he and his beautiful wife opened up their home to me and my wife. And they held the event at their house, and they cooked, and we laughed, and we had great conversation. I got the information I needed, and Carlos has been my ace ever since. That has been my ace ever since. I mean, salt of the earth dude. So yeah, salt of the earth dude. Thank you so much. Oh, definitely don't dox yourself. Yeah. Oh, you're a fashion designer. Okay. Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. That's the creative community. Absolutely. Definitely. Yeah. Definitely don't dox yourself. Me, I'm such an open book with my stuff. Historically, my wife and I used to have another very popular online marriage coaching platform. Back when Periscope was a thing. Before it was not a thing, before it went extinct. And so that's actually where I acquired all the streaming stuff, and it was all for that, all the cameras and all that other stuff. We're thinking about bringing that back, but that's so people kind of know who I am, what I've done. Told all my business on that platform, all my business. Oh, you love to draw and paint? That's what's up. Yeah, you remember Periscope? Yeah, we actually had like 80,000 Periscope followers. It was very popular, and it kind of segued into Facebook, which we're thinking about coming back on and streaming at least maybe once a month, because we call them supporters. I don't do followers. I think that's very pretentious. Even though I know that's social media lingo. I call them supporters because that's the new support mechanism in today's landscape. Our eyes and attention, right? And so I call them our supporters. And so our supporters have been reaching out to us regularly on Facebook, asking us to go live. So we actually are planning on doing that again. With nothing else, we just like helping people, right? We've been married for 28 years. And all this, like, you can see all our videos here on YouTube. The YouTube channel is still up. People don't go to it, but all our channels, all our videos up on YouTube. But we just like helping people. Like, our entire family has been centered around service. Me in law enforcement and the military, my wife in education and ministry. my gym, personal training. I used to help kids get into college through athletics, all that kind of stuff. And so this is this right here, the school, Ka-Pow school, is still like a part of that. You know what I mean? It's trying to help people that were like me when I was in the throes of the rat race, but had this creative thread. Now, mind you, I skirted around the industry. I was never completely out, but I wasn't all the way in either. And so now that, being retired several years and empty nester, now it's like, okay, how many people still want to learn how to draw this and pursue their dreams of just telling good stories, and who would love to learn from industry professionals? And so basically I built the school that I wish was around when I, was in the throes of the rat race of life, mortgage, 2 house notes, 4 kids, married, 6 nights a week in a squad car, but had this desire to grow artistically and creatively, but couldn't afford the schools, because I'm on the budget and didn't have the time. I wasn't time liquid either because of life's responsibility. So, let's see if we can build something like that to kind of help people that were like me. You should do a channel. You should. I was in that. Supporters. I was in that frame of mind, and so I started doing some research a few months ago as I've been prepping for this. Everything is at the schedule. I'm gonna release a video a week. And mind you, I'm doing 2 platforms, this and my studio. But I was like, is this still viable? And then I just started looking at because you kind of think everything's been done on YouTube, right? And I'm also on Twitch, and that's already, starting to yield some results. But it still is it's today's TV. They're always looking for new content creators. You know what I mean? And I'm not even stuck on trying to earn right now. I'm just trying to grow. You know what I mean? I'm grow, give people good value, be sincere, speak from the heart, and hopefully somebody's inspired and moved by it. Share some stories. I got tons of stories. And then just let whatever happens happen. You know what I mean? No preconceptions. I'm not saying, well, I'm gonna be 1 million followers. No, I'm not trying to even do that. It's just whatever happens. Just do the thing. Do it for the right reasons. Do it the right way. And I believe that the results will speak for themselves. You know what I mean? Because I was so intimidated. I'm looking at these people with all these hundreds of thousands of followers, and I'm like, oh my gosh. And I'm starting at 0, but they started at 0 too. Okay, so let's go ahead and start from 0, and let's do the darn thing, and quit playing with the darn thing. See, the things talent sets you apart. Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate that. Thank you. I'm learning. I'm an old dog, but I think I got a few tricks, nigga. I think I still got a few tricks left in me. I know my wife and I used to always crack jokes on this D.L. Hughley skit where you talk about the old dog, and when they're about to put him out the pasture, he's like, I got a little wolf in me. I got a little wolf in me. I'll go over here and eat this grass and I'll be better. So I think I got a few tricks left up the old sleeves. Yeah, it's the first step. Thank you so much. Thank you for the encouragement. Thank you so much. Welcome to my tribe. I don't know if you want to be a part of my tribe, but you are officially adopted. And we're gonna look back. Here's my prophecy. We're going to look back on this time when it was just you and I on the stream, Mega. And we're going to look back when there's hundreds of thousands of followers. And they're going to wonder why. Why does Solo always address this mega person every time they comment? And we're going to like, I was there way back when. You were there way back when. And that's how it was like when we did our thing, our Periscope, when our audience grew really crazy. People were wondering why certain people stood out. Is because they were there when it was just like 3 people in the room, you know, and you kind of remember those people with you, you know what I mean? And they kind of earn a seat of honor at the table that, you know. So yeah. So you welcome to the tribe. Welcome to the Ka-Pow fam. Hope you survive your stay. Hope you survive your stay. Absolutely. Thank you. That blesses me tremendously. Yeah. So since you're here, I can share with you some other things that I've been working on. Let me see if I can. So I'll give you a quick peek. Let me see. Wait. Save. Oh, I didn't want to quit. Nope. Cancel. File. Open recent. Black Adam. Pause the recording. So, Control. Tab. This is a print that I'm working on right here. This is a print that I'm working on right here. It's going to be a split print for next year of Venom and Carnage. And yes, Venom will have the white spider on his chest. But I'm going to paint this one. This is going to be done in a painterly fashion. This is a print that I'm working on for my studio, done in a chibi method. So, let me see. So this is something I'm doing for my studio. Yeah, and this is an original character of mine, and he's going to be saying something snarky at the Bat Dude, you know. And let me see. Pull up something else. Boop. And this is a cover and print that I'm working on for my studio as well, for one of our titles. Let's see if I have anything else in this one. I have so many tabs open. It's probably why my computer's moving so slow. Oh, you love them. Thank you so much. Thank you. Are you the only one that I have open? Let's see. Yeah, I think this is the only one I have open in Clip Studio. Yeah, that's another one. Let's see. So yeah, I'm working on a bunch of stuff. I've got pages. I'm starting on. So one of the things that I'm doing is returning to my former strength, which is page work. So next week, I'm probably going to be streaming some original pages that I'm working on. It's just a script that I wrote for my own personal benefit for me to practice on before I start laying out pages for my studio property again, because I don't want, so like when you're rusty, like I'm rusty from drawing pages, right? I haven't drawn pages in like 17, 18 years. I released my graphic novel in 2004, and it blew up. That's in the story for another day. That'll actually be on my studio channel. It blew up, and I wasn't ready for it. I knew nothing about business. I knew nothing about IP. I knew nothing, but it blew up. I mean, when I say blew up, we're talking investors. We're talking meetings with representatives from PlayStation. We're talking flying from coast to coast, meeting with venture capitalists. One entity sent a representative from South Africa to meet me at my house in the hood on the south side of Chicago. And it was just overwhelming. And so even though I had released the first book and I had the next 2 books done, I shuttered the studio and went back to law enforcement until the dust settled. I was just overwhelmed. I was intimidated. I was frustrated. And now I kind of use that as a cautionary tale with my students, to always plan for success, because you never know when lightning will strike. But anyway, I share these pages when I'm at conventions and whatnot. People see them on the table, and I'm grateful that my artwork isn't dated. Some people have even said graciously that I was ahead of my time artistically, and that may be kind of true, because my pages don't look like they were drawn almost 20 years ago. They look very current, but I'm rusty from storytelling, and that's actually what got me my invitation to the mainstream industry, was my storytelling, not my drawing. And so now, almost 20 years later, I'm getting back into the storytelling saddle, but I don't want to practice on my studio properties. Those are my babies. I want to practice on something that I'm detached from, that I can kind of shake off the cobwebs, get the camera angles and all the stuff right. So I'll be streaming that process, and you can watch me really screw up royally. Because all this is in preparation for me to get back to our studio properties, because I'm planning on releasing an anthology to kind of launch our studio in the crowdfunding space. So, but your boy's rusty. You said you're loving this tale. Thank you so much. Yeah, it was intimidating. I created the book as a one-off. I created the story as a one-off, and because it didn't mean that much to me, I didn't think it would resonate with others. And of course, I didn't know if I had any real storytelling chops as a writer. Most people who know me intimately would probably agree to this. I'm likely a better writer than I am an artist. I'm still trying to level up my art skills to match what I write. And I think this is like I'm chasing myself, right? Somebody asked me a little while ago who my favorite artist was. And of course, my favorite, Carlos Pacheco, Stuart Eminem, and newcomer Pepe Larraz, Mahmoud Asrar. Those are some of my favorite artists. But I responded to him, aside from that, my favorite artist is me in 3 years. And if you ask me in 3 years, I'll probably say it again. I want my favorite artist to be me in 3 years. I want to say I'm my favorite artist 3 years from now. Right now, I'm not even in the running. But the funny thing is, if you ask me 3 years from now, I'll probably say it's the same thing again. It'll probably be me in 2 or 3 years. I think it was Michelangelo who said, I think this is an adage. I don't know if it's true or not, but it's a saying that when he was dying, they asked him if he had any regrets, and he said, yeah. He says, I think I'm finally starting to get it. Talking about his art, he's like, he was just starting to get good. And I think that's like the artist's curse, So yeah, I'm curious to see how good I can get, because I want to sit at a certain table artistically, and like I don't even look at my own work. I don't even look at my own work. I draw it and I forget it. You know what I mean? Like if you see my inspiration around me, there's some artists that I've seen, and it's a little narcissistic to me, but they have their artwork all around them. And for me, I don't find me inspiring to me, right? Because I live with me. You know what I mean? I see me naked, right? I see me when I'm less than 100%. And I see all the artwork I've tossed away and all the mistakes that I'm making, right? But I always surround myself with other artists that inspire me. Like if you look at my screensaver and the books that are around me, you know what I mean? It's nothing's me. Nothing's me. It's all others, that I'm trying to earn a seat at their table, so hopefully I'll get there. We'll see. Hey, Ellie. from Twitch. Hello, thank you so much. You've heard that too about Michelangelo. I don't know if it's a true story. I think it's an interesting story though. I think it's very interesting. I think that it speaks to what I call the artist. There's what I call the artist's curse and the writer's plight, right? And I think it speaks to the artist's curse, that we're always chasing this elusive thing, this perfection, this level of peace in our work that I think eludes us. Like, we have our moments, right? I'm sure you feel this way too with your artwork. We have these moments where, like, okay, I did all right on that one. You know what I mean? But there's so few and far between. But I just love it as a reminder that, number one, I'm not alone in this thinking. That I'm not alone in this thinking. That I'm in very good company, and that as long as I'm wired that way, that eventually I might find myself actually sitting at the table with the cool kids and wondering how I got there, if that makes sense. Like, how did I get here? I want that feeling. I want the artists that I esteem to say, hey, you're solo, aren't you? That would be the coolest to me. I want somebody to cosplay my character. You know what I'm saying? And not because I asked. I want the books that I released with my studio to resonate with somebody to the point to whereas, to me, that's like one of the ultimate comic book artists' compliments to me, is when someone else spends dozens of man hours and pours their heart and soul into a costume to wear that character at a convention and take photos with other people. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. I got some weird goals. I probably. Like, I probably would not know how to act if I saw somebody come in and cosplay as one of my characters. I'd probably just totally lose my stuff. It's like I surround myself, like when I turn my head and I look at the comments, right? When I look at the comments that you guys are leaving, when I turn my head, right behind it is, on my screen server, rotating every few minutes, are famous artists that I just swipe off the internet. My favorite artists, just boop, boop, boop. And I just put them in this. The folder is called Art Inspiration, and not one of my pieces is in it. Not one. Probably never will be. Probably never will be if I have anything to do with it. But I would love for myself to be in somebody else's folder one day. Where someone says, I got your stuff on my screensaver. And the funny thing is, like, I don't do fandom. I'm kind of built different. Like, if you ask me, I'll say artists that I admire, but I'm not a fan of anybody. So one of the things that I'm doing, I'm a fan of character. And not like characters when it comes to like superheroes. I'm a fan of how people handle success and fame and how they navigate those things. I'm a fan of character, and I'm an admirer of artists, but I'm a fan of character. And one of the reasons, like, I'm doing this series, is one of the things I'm creating on the YouTube channel, called Doc Solo Does Surgery. And it's where I dissect artists and books. I actually do surgery from an objective point of view, not from a stylistic point of view, but from, because this is a learning platform. But even my favorite artists, I'm not fans of, because I believe when you do fandom, you inadvertently turn off your brain, right? And your critical thinking ceases. And so I've warned my students against that. I don't do fandom in really any area of my life, from sports. Like, I used to play pickup ball as a teenager with Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen at a gym on the south side of Chicago. And even as a teenager, even though I was impressed, and I never asked for an autograph, right? I never, I didn't, they didn't resonate with me on that level. I'm a fan of how people treat other people. And I know that sounds corny, but how do people treat their fans, right? How do they navigate life when, are they consistent in front of the spotlight as they are out of the spotlight? There's an artist that I met. There's an artist that I met face to face at a convention. I won't mention his name. Really great guy. And I walked up to him, and he and I are now in IG acquaintances. Like, we'll DM each other. He was part of my beta group for my app. But I went and I introduced myself to him. And I said, yo, man, I see your stuff on YouTube and your tutorials and stuff. And I just want to let you know, man, I really appreciate what you do. I'm an admirer of your work. And he's like, oh, would you like me to autograph something? I said, oh, no, I'm not a fan. I said, I'm not a fan of your work. And it was the truth. It was the truth. I'm not a fan of his work. And he's a tenured industry artist. He's competent, but his aesthetic and his approach don't appeal to me personally. That's the objective point. The subjective point. But the objective side of it is, he's solid objectively. He's a pro for a reason, and I get it. But I don't even buy his work when it's on the shelves, because I'm not subjectively, it does not appeal to me. I said, no, man. I said, I'm not a fan of your artwork. And he looked real stunned. He was like, what? You know what I mean? I said, but I am a fan of you. I said, the way you deliver your content, the way you speak to your fans, and you give the level of attention that you give them, and how cordial and gracious you are. I said, it reeks of character. I said, so I'm a fan of who you are, even though I'm not a fan of your artwork. And so I support you. When he goes live, I support him with my dollars, because he's a genuinely solid guy. And ever since that conversation, he and I have been really cool on the socials. We don't interact a lot, but if I comment yo, Solo, what's happening, bro? But it was funny when he responded to, well, I'm not a fan of your artwork, but I am a fan of you, and I think that says more to me. You know what I mean? And it's not even an ego thing. It's not like I think I'm hot stuff. It's just that, being a military veteran, being a cop, being an ex-professional level athlete, I've been in the room with people that have accomplished some amazing things. Even as a cop, I bodyguarded huge celebrities, part-time, huge celebrities that come to Chicago. I had a friend who had a security service. He had a hookup with a local radio station, and whenever, mostly from the music industry, whenever they come in town, I get a phone call, and I'd have to shadow them their entire stay in Chicago. And what I realized is they're just people. They are just people like you and I. One guy, Master P, came to town. This was at the height when he was still rapping and he was producing. He was picking up from the airport, and we were in a Sprinter van. And this is when Little Rome was still playing AAU basketball as a young guy. And this was right before phones had video capability. And we're sitting in there, driving from the airport, listening to this dad listen to his son's basketball game. And he was just a dad, you know what I mean? Asking about stats and who did what and, what happened play by play. And he was just a dad. And he talked to all of us on the detail, just like what we were. Like we were just dudes. Like we were just, hey man, y'all hungry? But I'm watching this multimillionaire, famous music producer and rapper. He was just being a dad, And I was like, wow, that's what's up, What up, Warren? What's up, CJ? He said I will be. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Mega. Thank you so much. What's up, CJ? How you been? You want in on this? Where you been, bro? You like went dark on a brother, man. What's up, one? What up? You went dark on a brother, dude. Where you been? You went like zero dark 90 on me. How you been, man? I'm gonna start being here on every every Tuesday and Friday on Ka-Pow. On Mondays, what I don't know what on Mondays and Thursdays I'll be streaming on Honor Studios. Make me say I know, right? Nah. Yeah. Yeah, that's, character means so much, especially as I've gotten older, because you've seen so many people that don't handle it well. Don't handle fame and accomplishment, let alone wealth, well. But it really makes you appreciate those who do. Like, I'm a fan of, and I've never met him, Keanu Reeves. Never met him. But just what I've seen in the media of, just his graciousness. Just of his graciousness and his and knowing of his story, all the tragedy that he endured, and how he's not let it, lead him down a dark path. I'm like, see, somebody like that, he's worthy of fandom because he handles it well. And I don't think he can act. I don't think he can act. He does. He does. Now I'm interested to see what he does with this, with Berserker, his Kickstarter that he optioned into that's going to be a movie. I'm curious to see what he does with Berserk. Yeah. Even like when I as a kid, I can tell you this: Michael Jordan, great player, not so great guy. You know what I mean? Not so great guy. I grew up in the Michael Jordan era. You know what I mean? But as far as people go, take them or leave them. You know what I mean? And people think because people do something well that they are, that's that fan mentality. Just because, you do something well doesn't mean that, you are a good person. But we all desire to live vicariously through others. And I get that. I'm not ignorant of that. I'm going to add a little bit of something here. Get some. Okay, you're not going to give me any. Oh, nope. I want that. I want this. There we go. Get some details into this belt. I need to bring those down a little bit. I think I need to bring them down a little bit. There we go. That looks better. There we go. That looks better. I can rock with that. Yeah. It costs nothing to be kind. You know what I mean? It costs nothing to be kind. Yeah, it may cost you a little time, right? It may cost you a little time. It may cost you a little energy. But I think the return on it is so much greater. The return on that investment is so much greater. I'm probably gonna get this guy try to get him all blacked and blocked in, and then next stream I'll get him. We'll get them colored. Start flatting. I actually haven't been using Photoshop a lot. I've been using more Clip Studio Paint lately as I'm trying to really learn the program as I get ready to crank out these pages. But I think the pages that I'm gonna start next week, and the streams will probably be a little bit shorter next week, only because I'm trying to put myself back on an industry production schedule just to kind of test myself to see if I can still complete a page a day in any respective style. And so because of that, and my desire to stay consistent with streaming content and posting content, I might make it a little shorter. We'll see. We'll see how it progresses. But I'm literally going to be starting on pages like immediately on Monday. And my goal is to get 5 pages done of the sample story, just to kind of test myself in preparation for my studio books. Yeah, it's so like storytelling, visual storytelling. That's my strength, Mega. That's that. So you don't know my story, and I share it. I'll share it here probably in an upcoming video. I don't want to bore you with the details, but I cut my teeth and I got my first job offer in the industry, which was Superman, in a group and I had a portfolio with a group of amazing artists that are now industry heavy hitters. And I was the only one offered work at that time. And I was not the best artist. I was the stronger storyteller. And so that's kind of like where I hang my hat on is, visual storytelling. I've leveled up my art skill since then, I think. But at that time, when I got that business card and he's like, call me when you're ready to work, I am not ashamed to say I was not the best artist out of that group. Not even close. Not even close at that time. I was 24. The other guys that got that, we had gotten basically a hookup to get a direct review and to skip the line because one of us was doing had already made some industry headway, even though he wasn't on books. And the guy that made that happen for us, he's now in Hollywood, making movies and the like. But at the time, he was a right hand man to Todd McFarlane, and he got us this. He's like, go up there and tell him I sent you. You see, I'm not big on name dropping, but he's like, go up there and tell him I sent you. And the line was wrapped around the building at Wizard World Chicago. It was literally wrapped around the building, because in the comic book industry, portfolio reviews by editors, that's your big break. That's your make or break point, right? Either you gone, they don't even go to cons anymore like that. The editors will go, but at the time, this is back when Marvel and DC showed up at comic book conventions. They don't any longer, with the exception of maybe San Diego Comic-Con. And even then, it's more to promote their movies than their comic books. But back then, they were present, and they had these big old booths and all the lights, and the hottest artists in the industry were always at those tables. And when the editor looked at my portfolio, I didn't have a Superman, I didn't have a Batman, I had no mainstream in my portfolio. Were, I think, 5 or 6 pages from a upstart, Afrocentric indie publisher, of their characters, a couple of the covers that I did for them, and the early beginnings of the characters that would comprise my studio's universe. No Batman, no Spider-Man, no Superman, no Wonder Woman, no Shazam, no nothing. Nothing that was recognizable by anybody who was in comics. And I didn't want to show it to him. I was apologizing for it. And long story short, it turned into a job offer that I actually declined, because I actually didn't have any aspirations to work in the mainstream industry. Even then, I was kind of, when people ask me, like, what am I known for? I'm one of the artists that knows me. I'm known for being the stupid guy who turned down, quote unquote, the artistic gift of a lifetime. And that's to work on Superman. And everybody thought I was crazy. But even then, I kind of knew the game that I wanted to play, and I knew that wasn't it. Because I had a mentor. That I met at the animation studio, who actually was an industry mainstay and a tenured, industry vet. But he was also a lead animator at the studio I worked on at. And he helped me calibrate, my goals. And so it wasn't for me. What they could afford to do, I couldn't afford to do. I just couldn't. Not for comics. I had a wife and kids to support, and I knew what the industry earned. I knew how tough it is. It's entertainment. I mean, when people think entertainment industry, they think, Hollywood, of course, and rightly so. But they don't think comics. Comics is the entertainment industry, y'all. And it was the entertainment industry before there was an MCU, before there was a DC movie universe. Comics were entertainment, the entertainment industry, long before that. And so, just like the entertainment industry, if you're, everyone thinks they're going to go to Hollywood and make $1 million. You know what I'm saying? That's not how it works often, more times than not. Yeah, without getting the details. Yeah, and so though we were all like very hungry to break in, I was hungry just to know I was good enough. That was my thing. I'm like, I always wanted my own studio. Even though I draw this stuff for fun, I knew that there was no long-term benefit, no legacy for me, for my family. Like I would not get any type of royalty rights, for anything that I did for them. Yeah, they they'll make you famous. They won't make you rich, and I knew that. I had those lessons. Thank God for mentorship. And he wasn't bitter, by the way. He was not a bitter guy. He was like, all right, this is what we're talking about here. What do you want to do with this? And he just had some very real conversations with me. You know, like it fit him because he was single. You know, he was like, dude, at the time I had 3 kids and 1 on the way. He's like, you got 3 kids. Can you afford this? Can you afford that? You know, this is what happens when a book gets canceled. You know, can you withstand that hit? You know, are you willing to put your family? I'm like, and the answer kept coming up, no. The answer was like, nope, I'm not willing to do that. You know, nope, not willing to do that. You know, nope, not willing to put my family through that. Nope. So basically it was like I answered my own question. You know. Hey Tosh, thank you. Josh, welcome. YouTube, hello. People from YouTube popping in. Welcome. Just sitting here chilling with One Reason on Twitch and CJ on YouTube and Mega. I'm Doc Solo. I am the founder and the director of Ka-Pow, the Comic Art Academy, the real art school for real people with real lives, taught by real pros. That's our tagline. So yeah, welcome. Thank you for coming in. So yeah, I had to abandon this because Black Adam was such a bad movie. It was so bad. And that was like, I kind of kicked myself. I'm kind of kicking myself for being that shallow. Because it really shouldn't matter. I'm a fan of the, like, again, I said this in the opening, I'm a fan of the Shazam mythos, you know, ever since I was a kid, you know, and as soon as that movie came out, I was like, oh, not finishing that, Brent. Listen, we can talk about it. I'm willing to have that discussion, y'all. But I called BS on The Rock, to be quite honest. You know, I called BS. Me and him have the same name, so I'm an admirer of the man and the work that he's done, you know, and where, you know, how he's paid his dues. But when he said he was a fan of Black Adam as a kid, there's no way on God's green earth that you could be a fan of Black Adam and make the movie that you did. I just don't believe it. I don't believe it. You know, I believe that he tried to capitalize, albeit a little late. He tried to capitalize on the superhero zeitgeist in Hollywood, and he created a role for himself that he knew he could fill with little to no resistance. And it was The Rock cosplaying as Black Adam in a movie. I did not get the Black Adam that I adore in the comics. That's just me. Go forth as you see fit. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. It's looking okay. It's looking okay. Actually posed for this. I did a selfie for this pose. Actually posed for this, so photo reference was used. And it was so long ago. Like, this image is so old, it's ridiculous. It was back when they first announced the Black Adam movie. Now, it took them 10 years to make it. Think about that. That's how old this is. I started this when they first announced and greenlit the Black Adam movie. All the shenanigans that happened afterwards. Thank you so much, Meg. I appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. I'm glad you like it. And I have another one. Let me see if I can find it. Hold on a second. I have another one that I started on doing WandaVision. WandaVision? Such a good, one of the best shows made on Disney Plus. Hands down. And let me see if I can find it. And I think I'm going to finish this one because this one is actually, even though I don't hold out hopes for the movie, I don't hold out hopes for the movie. We shall finish this one and pray for the best. Let's see if I can find it. Let's see if I can find it really quickly. Oh, there it is. Yeah, it is. Where did you skip to? There we go. So we shall hope for the best on this one. Let me open this up. So yeah, I started on that one a while ago. I think we're going to finish this one with the Marvels movie coming out. That might be a stream as well. That might be a stream as well. So yeah, not putting a whole lot of hopes on that movie. All things being considered, but I'm gonna finish this one and make that one to a print because I actually like the character. I've always liked Monica Rambeau. I always liked Photon. So, thoughts? What are your thoughts on this one? See, I have a whole bunch of stuff that I had started on that I didn't finish for various reasons. So I think we're gonna finish Monica Rambeau. That'll be another stream. That'll be another stream. And now that we're doing all of this stuff, I have all this incentive because we have to grow our presence on social media. And the school is live and my students are looking at me, and like, Doc, we need, they call me Doc because of my initials. But also, one guy says that I'm a comic philosopher. And you guys will get some of that. I do have a lot of thoughts on things. And I tend to overthink things. So if you have the patience, I have the, oh, you was cooking. Oh, that's fine. You all love the angle. So I have a lot of thoughts on things, as we all do. Opinions and a-holes, we kind of know how that is, right? I'm gonna go ahead and do some. Mine's a little thick. Don't want it too thin. Draw through this. Draw through. You see me do that a lot. I draw through and I go back and erase to make sure I have a nice, consistent line. There you go. Now, we're going to talk about this. I'm sure Chuck, if he's here, he can kind of tell you when I get ready to color this next time I go live. The thing with when you have an erratic light source, like fire, lightning, electricity, that kind of thing, you kind of just have to pick one in comics, even though that's not how it works in physics. You kind of pick a primary source and kind of just stay consistent with it. Because I don't know if you guys actually like paid attention, if you're around a campfire or in front of a fireplace, or you see an electrical arc or anything like that. The light tends to be erratic and dance all over the place, so you don't have that luxury in comics and illustration. So you kind of have to pick so of course it's going to be this glowing hand and the energy emanating from the lightning bolt on his chest, but that's the primary light source. So that's always going to be fun from a coloring perspective. The center of his chest is here, coming up there, so I want a little dip right around here. Okay, and a little dip right around. Middle of the chest will be right here. When it jumps layers. Try to remove the tangents as good as you can. There you go. What you cooking? You said you cooking. You just reminded me that I'm hungry. I do intermittent fasting daily, but whenever I eat heavy like I did yesterday, I kind of go longer. The following day, I ate a lot. We're talking everything. Pork, beef, chicken. I did the entire animal kingdom yesterday on the grill. Didn't do fish. Should have done fish. But now, the next day, because I know I ate like a pig and I didn't work out this morning. Didn't work out this morning, which is I was just so tired from cooking. It was hot here, y'all. It was hot. It was hot here in the Shy. It was hot. So don't judge me. It was hot. That doesn't quite make sense. We'll go with it. It ain't got to make sense. It just got to look cool. That's the rule of cool. That's the rule of cool, y'all. It ain't always got to make sense as long as it looks cool. There we go. There we go. Yep, as long as it looks cool, we're good. Oh, don't want all that. I'm gonna see if I can find Google Maps a good a nice Egyptian background of some kind. Maybe even like a tomb. Ooh, shredded rotisserie chicken. Oh my gosh. Oh, with pasta salad. Oh my gosh, I bet that is delicious. That sounds amazing. Piece of real bread with roasted. Oh my gosh, that sounds amazing. I'm a huge foodie, by the way. I'm a huge foodie. Actually, before I got on here, I was watching. When I say foodie, I watch all the culinary shows, from barbecue showdowns to Beat Bobby Flay to, it don't matter. If they're cooking, I'm watching. And my goal, I told my wife, my goal is to have a chef's kitchen. That's my goal. I want a chef's kitchen. I want a legit chef style kitchen. Right? Give me that, and I will live out the rest of my days happy. I love good food. I was watching Barbecue Brawl, and the winner of it is actually from Chicago this season, and I know where her restaurant is because it's right up the street from where I grew up. And I'm like, okay, that's a trip. You two won. Yeah, it doesn't have to be a whole. It just has to be delicious. It doesn't like. I don't need a whole bunch of complex. So one of the best Father's Day gifts ever. My children. I was watching. I don't know if you've ever seen Chef's Table on Netflix. Amazing show where it highlights the best chefs from around the world. I was watching Chef's Table on Netflix, and there's a restaurant. Amazing story. I think it's episode 1. If you have not watched it, do yourself a treat. Watch Chef's Table on Netflix. The first episode of season 1 is Alinea. It's the name of the restaurant, Alinea. It's the story of Grant Achatz. That's his name. And his story is amazing. Up and coming chef at the time, tearing up the culinary scene. And he catches, I think, cancer in his tongue or in his throat where he can't taste anything. And he thinks his career is over at the onset when he was just this rising star. And he ends up making one of the best restaurants, voted one of the top, I want to say one of the top 5 restaurants in the world. And it's here in Chicago. It's called Alinea. Well, anyway, after I watched it a few years ago, Father's Day just passed. And my wife and my children, I don't know how they did it. But they got us reservations. The waiting list was ridiculous. They got reservations for 2 at Alinea, and me and my eldest daughter, she and I went together because she's the only person that's a risk taker when it comes to food, like me, and it was amazing. Like there is fine dining, and then there's elite dining, right? Alinea is elite dining. You know, we go to fine dining restaurants. Of course, it's going to be maybe $50, $60 a plate, per person, per entree. That's fine dining typically, $50, $60, $70. This one was like $100 and something per. It was amazing. And she and I, we ate everything. And that's probably one of my best experiences. I've never eaten at a restaurant that elevated. And you kind of think, because I am a simple guy as a foodie, I'm a simple guy. You kind of think it can't be that good, little tiny portions and all the tweezers, and you know what I'm saying? When I tell you it was amazing, it was freaking amazing. And some of the stuff I didn't know what we were eating. It was amazing. You cooking dinner right now? One of the things that really got us. All right, so really quick. So one of the things that got us at the, because it was, small plates. And so it was like, boom, boom, it was like 15 courses, right? And then we got a chance to tour the kitchen. And we got a chance to sample something that was prepped in the kitchen that we had to eat in the kitchen. And so I wanted to meet Grant Achatz because, again, it's all about the story, right? His story is amazing. But he wasn't. I didn't see him. He probably was there, but I didn't see him. But one of the things they brought out was one of the courses was squid. Now I don't like squid. Each his own. I'm not a big seafood person as it is, but they brought out this squid, and they brought it on a bright yellow plate. Right? We each got like a tentacle. Right? I know it sounds gross. And his specialty is basically like misdirections, almost like magic, things that should not taste like they taste. And my daughter and I looked at each other when they brought this squid out, She got her plate, I got mine, and it looked like it had been dipped in ink. It was charcoal black and dripping on this bright yellow plate. And I knew that was for shock value because you see this stark black tentacle, like it's dipped in ink on a bright yellow plate. We looked at each other, man, and it was like, because we made a vow that we were going to eat everything. That was our commitment to each other, right? We were going to eat everything. We bit into that thing. It was freaking amazing. It tasted like bacon. I don't know what he did. We like our finger on the yellow plate. We were like the ink. I guess it was charcoal, culinary charcoal, but it tasted like barbecued bacon. But it was a squid tentacle. It was freaky. Yes, we got to eat in the kitchen. It was like a one sample. Like they do all this, and then they ask you to get up from your table. And a group of us went down to the kitchen because we were in the upper level. And they would walk us around. We go in the kitchen. They have all of these portions of this. It was like this kind of meatball and this sauce, and we ate two things in there. And they told us how to eat it, and boom, then they gave us a sample of something was going on the next menu, and then they walked us right back upstairs. And you saw where like the elite people were sitting. We didn't get them tickets. We got tickets that fit our station. We got reservations that fit our station. And so, but it was still an amazing experience. Amazing experience. Oh my gosh, it was amazing. So yeah, watch Chef's Table, look at Alinea, and you'll see who I'm talking about. His name is Grant Achatz on Netflix. I'm going to go up and heat up some barbecue leftovers here in a second. Barbecue leftovers. I want a little beveling there. Turn off and see what we got here. It's not looking bad. Okay, I can deal with that. It's doable. Oh, you'll thank me later. I've watched every season. I'm a huge story person. His story is amazing. Like, can you imagine being at the height of your career and your main tool, your sense of taste, is gone as you're fighting cancer? Right? And if you look at his jaw, you can tell they had to remove like part of his jaw, but he couldn't taste his tongue. They had to remove part of his tongue, but he actually regained his sense of taste. And it was just an amazing story. And he came back with a vengeance. I'm like, that's the kind of stuff that like excites me. Just hearing, perseverance. I'm trying on some of my other pieces. I'm going to be experimenting a lot here. I'm trying to kind of get out of my way with I like stoic poses and like moments and thoughtful things like that. I'm good in getting like energy and stuff in sequences, but a lot of my prints are a little bit less energetic than I'd like them to be. And so I'm working on just kind of upping my dynamic factor, right? I like subtlety and nuance, which is why he's posed the way like this, but it's still exuding power, So some of my more recent ones, I'm going to be playing with some of my new upcoming ones. I'm going to be playing with some real expressive energy, and it's what I call money shots. Just kind of push myself a little bit. I'm not a big crosshatcher, but I use it sparingly. Just to add a sense of texture so everything doesn't feel so glossy. Yeah, I want to play with some more dynamic, action poses, and things like that for the prints. I'm good with pacing it when I tell stories. You know what I'm saying? When I'm doing stories, I'm worried about it less because I really draw to the moment, which I think is a huge thing with, making sure you get the squeeze all the juice you can out of a moment, even if that moment's just a conversation. I just recently had a young artist who is really hungry to get better, but he got some work with DC, and I really appreciated him coming to me. It showed profound humility, and he earned a lot of credit with me, because a lot of artists today, once they reach kind of like get invited to the party, they kind of think that they're, artists are hilarious. Let me tell you something. Especially comic book artists are hilarious. They are hilarious. We're always seeking, historically, comic artists are always seeking, that validation. Like most of us are as humans. I mean, it's a basic need. I get it. But comic artists don't handle it well when they get it, typically. Many of them think they're big time. When you realize how big the landscape is, you're like, bruh, stop. Enough, right? Add more black here. And so he made it to the, had achieved his goal. And I'd met him when he was still working at a comic book store. And this is right around when the pandemic, we were still kind of in it, but coming out of it. And that's when I opened up the school. But he was a worker at this comic book store at the time. And they asked me to look at his work. And just to be clear, I don't do critiques unless they're requested, right? I just think that's egotistical. I don't like to big brother people. You know what I mean? Because I didn't like it when people tried to big brother me. But when people ask me for a critique, I give them a thorough critique. And when you make that request, I'm gonna give you the best that I got as objectively as I can, which is pretty objective. I'm a pretty objective guy. And he asked me for a critique in front of his store mates, and I'm like, "You sure you want to do this here?" He's like, "Yeah, sure." So I gave him a critique, and he ended up DMing me a little later, and asking me to mentor him. Well, even though I'm a fan of mentorship, I'm not a fan of how mentorship is viewed amongst today's youngsters. A lot of times, admittedly, when I hear it, I hear, help me out for free and let me waste your time, and your energy, and hope that I might actually use what you give me. When I was coming up, mentorship was a huge thing. There was apprenticeships everywhere. It was an honor when a mentor chose you. Now, today's generation, I'm just not convinced. You know what I mean? Everybody wants things yesterday. A lot of people want things for free. And I'm not opposed to giving things for free, but you know, charity has its place. And I'm a fan of, if you really want to invest in your growth, actually invest in it, right? Get some real skin in the game. And I told him, I said, listen, nope, not looking for a mentee. If you're interested, join my school. Well, he didn't. He's like, I can't afford it. I was like, I get it. I said, well, you know, it is what it is, but you know, I appreciate you for, you know, asking me. So fast forward a few years, he sees me at a show. I didn't remember him, but he was, you know, selected in this program that is supposed to help develop new talent. And he got selected. It was a big hubbub about it. And so he reached out to me and he's like, you know, Mr. Sewell, can I get on your calendar? And I'm like, why? I'm like, you're already doing the thing, right? You know, he's like, I could really use your input on this. And so he asked me to critique his work. And I was like, okay. And that kind of really impressed me. You know what I mean? I'm like, maybe I got you wrong, dude. You know? And it turns out that he just wasn't getting what he wanted from like the editors and even from his circle. He didn't feel like he was progressing. And admittedly, he was not. Stuff ain't looking nice. But I gave him his props for basically really just humbling himself and saying, hey, I need to get better. Skip what these people are saying. He's like, when you critiqued me at the story, says you were honest. You weren't brutally honest. This is why Doc Solo does surgery. I don't believe in brutal honesty. I believe in surgical honesty. I believe that when you do anything with brutality, your intent is to destroy, not to build. Where surgery is something that is meant it's pain. They're both cutting. They're both going to do damage, but one's damage for destruction and the other one's damage for growth and healing. As someone who's had a plethora of surgeries, I'm a fan of surgery. I'm not a fan of brutality. So I tell people, don't be brutally honest. Be surgically honest. And that's why I'm doing the series on YouTube called Doc Solo Does Surgery. Doc Solo Operates On. But anyway, I critiqued him, you know. I told him to get back on my calendar when he's ready, you know, and we can revisit it. And what I was in essence saying is, okay, I'll mentor you. I'll see if he takes me up on it. That moved me. And I'm not above saying maybe I was wrong about this, you know. I'm like, maybe I was wrong, because you actually got invited to the big dance, and you saw something there that didn't quite sit well with you, whatever it may have been, you know. And we had our little discourse, you know, and he bumped heads with me on a couple of things, which I don't, you know, being a cop for almost 28 years, you don't expect people to kind of just go along with whatever you say. That's not life. So I'm not afraid of disagreements. But I had to temper him, like, listen, man, I'm not giving you my opinion. I said, I cannot objectively tell you where I'm coming from, and I would do that. Because he asked me about certain artists that were selected with him, and, you know, actually ended up pulling up their work and pulling out the stylus and digitally showing him what I was talking about. And he's like, oh, I get it now. I'm like, yeah, and like, don't be like ride or die for the sake of just being ride or die. You know, be a critic. Don't be a fan. It's okay to be a critic, you know, as long as you're not trying to be critical, you know, for the sake of being critical. He's turning okay. He's turning all right. Ooh, it's almost 7 o'clock. I gotta get ready to get out of here. And I've been on here for almost 2 hours. That's like a me record for live streaming. That's like a me record, but more to come. I want to thank you, Mega Mega, for hanging out with me. And I want to thank you, One, for coming in. That is my brother from another mother. I have not forgotten about you, brother. Just know I'm going to keep my word to you, and you're going to get what I promised you. You're going to get what I promised you, because I want to show support in a way that you've shown support for me. I just have to get some things off my plate artistically. Kind of got to be a better steward of some of my efforts as of late, but I have not forgotten about you. Know that, okay? Hopefully you know that. Just because you haven't seen it stream doesn't mean that I have forgotten. I have not forgotten. I'm going to hook you up. Thank you guys so much for hanging out. Thank you so much. Let me get ready to go ahead and sign off here. Let me turn around, turn my camera around. Boop. Thank you guys. Thank you so much for hanging out with me and Adam. Me and old Theo. I'm going to finish inking him probably tonight, and the next time you see me, we're going to be doing some probably some flats. I'll be back live on Friday. If you come in, great. If not, please follow, like, subscribe, whatever it is, wherever you're watching. Do the thing, and we'll have fun. We'll hang out. I'm building, so thank you guys thank you for those who are just jumping onto this early stage. I am here to stay, and let's make some great stuff together. Thank you guys for your support, and if you have not done so already, check us out at teachyoutodraw.com, the Real Art School for real people with real eyes. We only have, I think, 3 seats available. Classes officially start September 11th, but we will be taking applications all the way up until early November, before the holiday. That's where we feel like we can still catch you up to the curriculum, and that you wouldn't be shortchanged on your learning. But we have a dynamic team of year 1 students. Our year 2 is prepping. They're doing the thing. Our year 2 students are doing their thing, and I'm excited about them. They're about to enter the second year with the emphasis on visual storytelling. The first year is fundamentals. That's it. It's literally wax on, wax off Danielson. Because year 2 is a page producing, story sprinting marathon to build your portfolio, all in preparations for our graduation event, which we will be announcing the particulars in the upcoming months for next year. And we're going to do something that no other art school does. We're doing things right now that no other art school like us does. We're small, we're nimble, and we're going to stay that way. Because we like intimacy, and we like being able to connect with our students and to nurture and actually mentor them in the craft. And so if it sounds like something you want to be a part of, join our small but mighty motley crew and apply today at teachyoutodraw.com. Until then, I am Dr. Doc Solo Perry, and I will see you guys later. Solo out.